you're not launching a new product or service or anything else like that, but be able to go back and reflect upon these every once in a while, just for clarity for your own mindset, especially for your marketing team. So we got 6 questions here, and I'm going to take you through each one of them. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back again. Diving into marketing tips, kind of going through some of this last couple weeks. Continue to write it out and think through how do we continue to get better at marketing for our small businesses. For those of you that are new that I have not yet met, my name is Tanner O'Brien. I am the founder of Benefic Marketing and a senior partner and a coach here at Action Coach here in Central Texas. Been doing a lot with marketing, and we talked last couple of weeks. So if you haven't gone through and seen my last couple of videos, we talked a little bit about like marketing metrics, why they matter, different things to track, how we get started tracking, like that sort of thing, just to get the data that we need, because many of you probably already have a product that you're selling or are already in business. But moving forward, then we start looking at how do we identify the problems that we solve. So that's the key topic or the key thing that we're going to go through here today, which is what problem do you solve? So what problem do you solve, and who is best served by that solution? This is the core question I ask myself when beginning really any new marketing journey. I literally went through this just this last weekend, sitting down and mapping out some additional things and asking the simple question of what problem do I solve, and who is best served by that solution? So again, for most of you who stumble across this video, you'll already have something that you sell. You're already in business. You're already doing some of this stuff. This could be a physical product, could be a digital product, could be a service, could be whatever. In this case, what I encourage you to focus on here is getting clarity on the packaging that you offer. So who it is best for, and ultimately why that prospect or that lead should care, right? That's what's really important here. So when we look at the best marketers in the world, or the best businesses overall, they tend to understand that it's not about selling a product or service, or it's not all about selling a product or service. It's about solving a very specific problem or creating a specific desired outcome for those that we look to serve. Think of it this way. Like when you go to hang something on the wall, you've got this just blank wall, you go hang something on it. It's going to require you to put in kind of some screws. Like in that moment, you're not buying or grabbing the drill because it's the best, greatest, coolest drill in the world. You're looking for a specific outcome, the hole in the wall to place these screws to be able to get this thing up on the wall, the TV, the picture, the whatever. So you have a problem, which is a wall with no holes in it, and you have the drill, which is like the product or service, and it provides a very specific solution. Hole in the wall. Pretty cool, right? I know this is like super simplistic, but it's important to start here and like understand that it's only when we understand what we truly sell that we can properly market to our best customers. So, like, to guide along this journey, I've got a list of questions that I really enjoy reflecting upon when it comes to reviewing any of my products or services. These questions are even really great to go back on. Like if you're not launching a new product or service or anything else like that, but be able to go back and reflect upon these every once in a while, just for clarity for your own mindset, especially for your marketing team. So we got 6 questions here, and I'm going to take you through each one of them. First question: what are all the benefits that my product or service provides? This is, again, get very specific here. So list as many as possible. Like there's no right or wrong answer. Just think through what are all the benefits that my product or service can provide to someone. List it out. Then we move on to question 2, which is what is the end result that my product or service creates? Again, list as many as possible. Get super detailed here. Like build the super long list, but the end result that my product or service creates. Then we get into question 3. What are all the negative outcomes that are present if I don't use my product or service? Negative outcomes. So think about like the challenge, the problem of inaction. If somebody doesn't buy your product or service, what are all the negative outcomes that are present if they don't use it, right? Then we move on to question 4, which is how does my product or service reduce the amount of time required to achieve that desired outcome? Sometimes this is simply as asking, does it even reduce the time it takes? As if it doesn't, that might be something that we need to address in the overall kind of product marketing, right? So then we get to question 5. In what ways does my product or service reduce the amount of effort or pain required to achieve that desired outcome? Does my product make it easier, less painful, less time, right? Less effort? Does it reduce that overall to get to the desired outcome? Then we answer question 6. How does my product or service achieve the desired outcome? How does it actually achieve it? And I recommend here that you get as specific as possible. Like really get into the nitty gritty of like, how does my product or service achieve that desired outcome for somebody? I find that this is really helpful because it can help clarify that product or service in my own mind. Because the better I understand it, the better I can teach my team about it. And the better they understand it and they can articulate it and they like get it at that granular level, the easier it is for them to have conviction and care about the results that that can provide for someone. And that comes across in their marketing and their sales. So these are my 6 questions. Then armed with this knowledge and this clarity, I now have, that list of ways that I begin packaging my offer, my product, my service, whatever, in ways that actually make sense for the desired customer. So then, okay, who's my desired customer? How do I determine that? This is where I begin to explore the identity of that, identifying who my target market is, who ultimately is best served by the solutions that I provide. So once again, I've got a number of questions that I go through to answer this. For those of you that are watching, this would be a really good video to maybe hit save on, come back to, kind of scrub to the areas that have these questions on it, actually write them down and go through this process. But to best identify my ideal customers or my dream customers, I follow this very simple process for these simple 5 questions. The first one, who? Who am I looking to target? Very simple. I tend to list out as many characteristics as I possibly can come up with. These are things that identify who is best served by the solution I provide. So the goal here is upwards of like 75 characteristics. And yes, I have done this and it is tedious and it takes time. But the clarity that we gain by understanding who and all the different characteristics of this person that you're looking to serve, the easier it is to make a connection with that individual as you go through your marketing message. So what are characteristics? What do these look like? These can be things like where they live, what is their gender? What is their age demographics? What hobbies do they have? Where do they go to school? What's their income level, right? It could be, what are some of the things that they really enjoy or that they do in their free time? But, going through this process to think through as many characteristics as you can possibly come up with. So who am I looking to target is the first question. The second question is, where can I find the individuals that I outlined in that first step in the highest concentrations? That's a key. Like we can find them maybe in a whole bunch of different places, but where can we find them in the highest concentrations? Because that's where we want to spend our time. This does happen both online and offline. I want to make sure I make that very clear. So if my target prospects are big into golf, as an example, I might find them in the highest concentrations at local country clubs. If I've got baby boomers as a demographic that I'm looking to serve and I'm looking to find them online, right? I might be more likely to find them on like Facebook, over TikTok. There's a number of different ways that we can look at, answering this question, but where do we find them in the highest concentrations? That's kind of question 2. Question 3 then is, what is most important to my ideal buyer? What parts of my product or service speak to them and their challenges the most? Ideally, most of our product or service speaks to them, but what speaks to them the most? So what are the highlight points that are going to be most impactful to them? What matters to them? Then we answer the question 4. Why should my ideal customer care? The what's in it for me? Like, why should they care about your product or service? Why should they care about these things? Why should they care about you, right? Why should they buy from you or buy from me versus anybody else out there who might have a similar solution? So why is question number 4. Then we move into question 5, which rounds it all out, which is, how does my ideal buyer best receive information? So this could be, what formats or modalities do they tend to consume? What platforms are they on, right? Is it audio? Is it video? Is it text? Is it online? Is it offline? There's a whole bunch of different ways to look at this, but we want to understand, how do they consume and best receive information? because that's going to help us then map out the rest of our marketing plan in terms of, I need more written content because they read more things, or they tend to listen to podcasts more than anything else, so maybe I need some audio type things. But how do they best receive and consume information? So that's the how question, number 5 here. So again, this process will take time, and it's meant to. Like, only the best marketers and the best businesses out there will actually take the time to work through what they sell and to whom at this level of detail. And it's the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, that many businesses don't win, because they're unwilling to go through this level of detail. The greater the clarity, the greater our messaging can be. So start here. Gain clarity on what it is that you sell, the problem that you solve. Then really get into who is best served by this solution. Once complete, then we can dive deeper. Then we can dive deeper into, how do we package this? How do we package our core offer? How do we package our engagement offers? What are the best mechanisms in order to deploy them? And that's where we're going to go next. So stay tuned, subscribe, make sure that you hit the like button, and continue to check back in every week as we go deeper and deeper into this marketing system and all the fun stuff that comes along with it. But we'll be getting into that next. How do we package our offer and how do we deploy them? So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one here in about a week.